Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So obviously we do know that we need a massive overhaul this summer. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy, and he wants to recommend a number of young players to come in. Obviously he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously he wants to fulfil them areas where he thinks Manchester United of course are lacking, but as you all know, we have got our first signing on the board, through Daniel James, which is very, very good news. And now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to want to build on that and bring about 4 or 5 more players currently in. But like I said, we have got to get our number one targets this summer. That is very, very imperative indeed. I do know it's going to be difficult for us, to attract players to the highest level because we're not in a Champions League football for next season. Obviously, Champions League football, is always very, very pivotal, when you want to get your number one targets. But analysing our recruitment policy, it's extremely very, very poor. We didn't get anyone in January. Obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer because obviously, reflecting back last summer when we had Jose Mourinho, the board weren't back in the signs that Jose Mourinho, of course, wanted to recommend to come in. But like I said, I expect probably around 3 or 4 players to leave Manchester United this summer, maybe 5 players, to currently leave. But like I said, if we can cash in for Pogba, if we can cash in for Lukaku, it's going to help us with our rebuilding process, and it will help us with our transition. The spending spree is £200 million, but like I said, it's going to amount up to a lot more than that if we sell Pogba, if we sell Lukaku, if we sell De Gea. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on trying to keep his imperative players at the football club, and he's also working on trying to bring the right players who he thinks are going to elevate Manchester United forward, and also working on bringing players in who he thinks have got that work ethic, that physicality, who thinks are going to fit the culture of the club, and of course who he thinks are going to fit the history of the club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, because on analysing it, none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Obviously, Daniel James is his. That's the only player that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's now, of course. But obviously, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's still players from Van Gaal. There's Maguire from the David Moyes era, and obviously, there's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So we do know we have been playing catch up in the last 5 or 6 years. We do know a lot of money has been invested into the football club. We've had different managers with different philosophies, but we have been mismanaged in the last 5 or 6 years, and this is the main factor reason why we have been currently playing catch up, of course. But we've got to get the right players this summer, that can elevate Manchester United forward. People have said if we get the right players, this summer, they do believe we can challenge for the league next season, maybe even win the league next season. But I don't see that happening, because I think we're at least a couple of years off, for mounting any kind of title challenge up. And obviously, at the moment, City strides ahead of us, Liverpool strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative, that we catch up with the likes of City, and it's very imperative that we catch up with the likes of Liverpool. But I think, our aspirations is going to be, for that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. But going on into next season, I think our expectation levels are going to be, to probably finish in the top 4, and maybe, win the Carabao Cup, maybe win the Europa League. Obviously, we had a bad season last season, of course, finishing 6th. I think as well, we didn't win anything, and obviously, we conceded 54 goals last season in the Premier League. So that just emphasises, the issues we have currently got defensively. So we was pretty poor last season. But reflecting back when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in his first 3 months, it worked out really, really well. Them expectation levels, were met, and the performances were really, really good, and we did really, really well, of course. And obviously, one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as manager, obviously, was that PSG game, of course. That was one of his most iconic moments. Obviously, in one of his most iconic moments as a player, obviously, was in 1999 when he scored the winner against Bayern Munich at the Nou Camp in the Champions League final. Obviously, that year they won the treble. Obviously, one of the club's greatest achievements and all that. But it just seemed to all went wrong, last season. After when he got the job permanently, it just seemed to have all went wrong and all that. So maybe it's a different sort of level of pressure. I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've got to give him the summer, to bring some players to Manchester United, and then obviously see what happens going into next season. Don't get me wrong, I will be very critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if everything does go wrong next season. I love him a lot because he was a great player for us for 11 years. Was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was an absolutely fantastic player for us. But if it goes wrong next season, I will want him out of my football club. But I just don't like us sacking managers, of course, because we've already sacked 3, since Alex Ferguson retired. And we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, as you all currently know. But like I said, anyway, we've also got to get a director of footballing. That's very, very essential. We've got to get a director of footballing before the start of next season. That's a structural change that we do need at the club. It would be ideal to recommend someone who knows about the club, and of course someone who has got the experience. But there has been quite a few candidate names mentioned. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. But yeah, we have got Daniel James on the board. But I think the next likely signing is probably going to be Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, and I also think after that there's a possibility chance that Bissaka could also come in as well, which is very, very good. So, giving you an update about Bruno Fernandes, as I have been doing on a regular basis, because obviously it's looking very imminent. He's set to come to Manchester United. He's Bruno Fernandes, and as you all know, I like Bruno Fernandes a lot. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. He's only 24 years of age, and obviously, he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, perfectly. So potentially, Bruno Fernandes, I think is set to talk. Set to have talks with Sporting Lisbon about a transfer away. Obviously, he has basically been mentioning about he's still watching the Italian Championship and all that. This is what Bruno Fernandes is mentioning. He's watching the Italian Championship, and he said he had a great time in Italy because obviously when he was younger, Bruno Fernandes, he did spend the majority of his career in Italy, with Sampdoria and obviously underneath and all that. But I think he's set to have. I think he's set to leave Sporting Lisbon if a team comes in with an offer that of course cannot be rejected, and I think he's willing to leave Sporting Lisbon. But I think it did say, was it last week, that Ed Woodward was hesitating over that move for Bruno Fernandes, because I think Ed Woodward has got reservations about spending big on players who he doesn't think are going to step up to the mark at Manchester United. But I definitely think Bruno Fernandes can do this. I know he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet, but I do believe he's got all the attributes to come and succeed in the Premier League, and I do believe he'll exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. And he's the type of player Manchester United need, because he can score goals from that midfield, and we need goals from that midfield. He can also provide. His movement's very, very good, and obviously he's done really, really well in these couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon. I do believe he can replicate this at Manchester United. I think last season, didn't he score about 28 goals last season for Sporting Lisbon? So he can score goals, and he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. So obviously I think we are set to get him in a deal worth around £70 million, because we are preparing to pay up to £70 million for his services, or is it £71 million? Initially this is what Sporting Lisbon are demanding for Bruno Fernandes, but he came out yesterday saying that Manchester United very close to signing Bruno Fernandes, and it also said Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon had reached an agreement, of course, so it's looking very imminent. He's going to be our second signing. Obviously nothing's been fully finalised as yet, because obviously we've got to come to an agreement on a fee and that. He did initially say we had scheduled a meeting to get a deal finalised for Bruno Fernandes, but a lot of reports were coming out from Portugal, was it last week, saying a lot of reports were coming out from Portugal last week, saying potentially Tottenham had entered the race. It also said that Liverpool had entered the race, and initially Tottenham obviously seen him as a replacement for Christian Eriksen, because obviously Christian Eriksen is linked to a move to Real Madrid, and obviously Tottenham has seen him as an alternative to for Giovanni Lo Celso, because I think Giovanni Lo Celso has been on Tottenham's agenda, of course. I think he's been one of their main priority targets. Obviously Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer, because they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows, so Pochettino's going to want back in this summer. But for Giovanni Lo Celso, like I said, they had a bid turned down for him last month, because obviously Tottenham had put around the £53 million bidding for him, so maybe he may remain loyal to Real Betis, Giovanni Lo Celso. So now Tottenham have turned their attentions more on Bruno Fernandes. Obviously Tottenham can offer him Champions League football. Like I said, Liverpool have been in there for him. I think if he was to go to Liverpool, I don't think he's going to, obviously I think Man United are going to get him, but if he was to go to Liverpool, I think he'd fit Liverpool's system perfectly and all that. Liverpool can offer him Champions League football, but we do know mainly that it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. But Manchester City made a public statement saying that they're no longer interested in interested in Bruno Fernandes, and they have pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes, because initially did say that Manchester City were only willing to pay around £47 million for his services, but it did say City were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. So it is a players plus cash deal there. So at one point City were merged as the front runners, but now Manchester United of course are in the ascendancy. His initial release clause is around £86 million. Like I said, he's on the contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But yeah, like I said, he's got the ability to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. So him coming to the Premier League is going to take his footballing career to the next level. Maybe from Bruno Fernandes' perspective, he may want to make the return back to Italy, because like I said, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, when he was younger. But I'd love him, to come to Manchester United. And obviously, if Paul Pogba was to go, Bruno Fernandes, would be the adequate replacement for him, because as I just said, Bruno Fernandes is primarily an attacking midfielder, but he has been on our agenda, for quite long. He's obviously, one of our major priority targets. But obviously, we want to get a deal over the line, of course, and that is very, very essential. So it's looking like he's going to be our second signing this summer, our second signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. I think the third signing is probably going to be Crystal Palace's and Wan-Bissaka. There's a slight chance we may miss out on him, but Reports are coming out saying that Manchester United are preparing to put a bid in for him of around £50 million. So obviously, we're willing to increase our offer for him, because obviously, recent reports have suggested out, that we'd put a £40 million bid in for Bissaka, but reportedly, Crystal Palace had rejected this. I think it came out the other week saying that we was preparing to submit around the £25 million bid for his services, but obviously, this figure is going to be nowhere near enough to convince Crystal Palace to offload him. And I really, really like him a lot. I think initially Crystal Palace are demanding that they want around £60 million for Bissaka, maybe £50 million could be enough, to convince Crystal Palace to offload him. But I think they've blatantly made it clear that they want at least around £60 million for his services. Whether Manchester United, would be willing to pay this or not, I do not know. But reportedly now we are preparing to put an improved offering of around £50 million for his services. But I like Bissaka a lot. He's only very, very young. Also, he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made it clear he wants to recruit British talents this summer. But like I said, Bissaka, only 21 years of age, is predominantly a right back, and obviously, that's one of the pivotal areas where Manchester United, do need to strengthen up. Because, like I said, I think that fullback position has been an issue at least in the last couple of seasons for Manchester United. But like I said, we need a replacement for Antonio Valencia, because we know that Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously, Valencia has been here 10 years, so he's been a long-serving player at the club and all that. But obviously, it remains uncertain where his next destination is going to be. There has been talks of Valencia going to the MLS. Could he go to Ecuador? Could he, even retire from football? I do not know. But he is now, what is he, 33 or is he 34 years of age? Like I said, we need an upgrade to Ash Young, because obviously Ash Young has no longer got the abilities, to fulfill that right back position. And obviously, he's been a long-serving player. Ash Young's been here about 8 years, of course. Obviously, it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving him that new 1 year extension. And obviously, he is 33 years of age now. As Ash Young, he's past his sell-by date. I think he's nearly 34 years of age and all that. Don't get me wrong, I've admired his career at Manchester United, because he was good when he was younger, when he was a winner. Obviously, last season was our first choice right back, so we definitely need an upgrade to him, and we obviously need a cover up for Diego Dalot. But I think Bissaka, you would definitely be the right solution. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. He shows that ability to play out from the back, and he is very, very good on that right hand side. Is Bissaka, but reportedly Crystal Palace want around £60 million for him. He's only been in Crystal Palace's senior squad about 15-16 months. Obviously, he made his senior debut for Crystal Palace in February of last year, and obviously last season established himself as a first team regular and all that. So he has become an integral part of Crystal Palace's squad. I think Crystal Palace know how much of an essential player he is, so I don't think Crystal Palace want to let him go. Reports came out a while back saying that he's committed to Crystal Palace. Bissaka, and he's intending on spending at least another season with Crystal Palace. I think he's made about 42 senior appearances. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. I think it also says that Tottenham have expressed their interest in Bissaka. Obviously, Tottenham could offer him Champions League football. But even if Bissaka does stay with Crystal Palace for another season, I think anyway at some point in his career he'll want to take his footballing career to the next level, of course. But obviously Bissaka has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. I think he's been a Crystal Palace player since the age of 11. Obviously graduated from their youth system. Initially when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner, was Bissaka. But then obviously as he was developing, he got rotated as a right back, of course. So yeah, he is one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. So hopefully we can get a deal over the line for him. But there has been quite a few right backs on our agenda, as you all know. Obviously, there has been a lot of talks about Thomas Meunier going on. I think we're using, if I'm right, Meunier as an alternative to Bissaka. So if we don't get a deal over the line for Bissaka, I think we are set to conclude a deal for Thomas Meunier. So I think I presume that Bissaka is the top priority. But we're looking at it from a financial point of view. Thomas Meunier is a much cheaper solution than Bissaka, and obviously Thomas Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Bissaka, because reportedly it came out the other week saying that PSG want between from 22 to 25 million pounds for him, and that is very, very cheap. Thomas Meunier is 27 years of age. He's an experienced fullback. He did say the other week that Manchester United and Arsenal have made initial contact. Manchester United and Arsenal have made initial contact with PSG over the potential move, but it did get currently revealed from Thomas Meunier's perspective. It did get revealed from Thomas Meunier's perspective. His preference is Manchester United, because obviously, he got revealed. He has been a Manchester United fan, since he was a child. Thomas Meunier. He hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but he has got a lot of development in him. I still say he's got at least 3 or 4 years left in him as Thomas Meunier. Obviously, he's been at PSG 3 years. I think he's made about 101 appearances. Obviously, PSG got him from Club Brugge back in 2016 for around £5 million. So he's only got a year left on his contract. Like I said, he's predominantly predominantly right back, but he can play in other positions. He can also score goals. He can provide, and I do believe he's got all the attributes to come and succeed in the Premier League as Thomas Meunier. So he is still on Manchester United's agenda. And like I said, Arsenal maybe Arsenal are interesting because I think maybe Unai Emery is keen on reuniting with a player, because don't forget, Thomas Meunier played under Unai Emery, and I think he flourished under Unai Emery's guidance. But since Unai Emery has currently left PSG, he's found himself his two requirements as Meunier, and this is the main factor reason why he's currently set to leave PSG. So like I said, there's quite a few right backs on our agenda. And like I've been updating you on a regular basis about Harry Maguire from Leicester. Now, obviously, it is Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for his services, of course. So, we are prepared, to compete. We are competing for the signing of Harry Maguire. But like I said, Leicester have priced him out of the transfer market. Obviously, Harry Maguire's been relentlessly, linked to a move to Old Trafford. Obviously, the rumours have obviously, the rumours have continued to persist since last summer. Obviously, the process started under Jose Mourinho, because obviously, that was Harry Maguire was one of the players that Jose Mourinho currently wanted. But reflecting back last summer, Manchester United were reluctant to pay up to £17 million for his services. But I think Leicester know how much of an essential player he is to them, so they have priced him out of the transfer market because they are demanding an extortionate amount. Reportedly says they want around 80 or 90 million pounds for his services. Don't get me wrong, Manchester United and Manchester City, have got the financial power, to meet that valuation, of course. But I just don't see Manchester United and Manchester City, willing to pay that. So I think we are going to be reluctant, to pay that kind of money for him, because I just don't think Harry Maguire is worth that. But obviously, he's on Manchester City's agenda. I think it's Manchester City's number one target, to replace Vincent Kompany, of course, because obviously, Vincent Kompany left Manchester City after serving 11 years with them. So obviously, they're looking for the replacement for him. And so it is Manchester United and Manchester City battling out for his services. Don't get me wrong, he's a good central defender. He's Harry Maguire. He's proven in the Premier League. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons and all that. And obviously, if Manchester United and Manchester City, were willing to break the world transfer record for him, and we were willing to pay 80 or 90 million pounds, obviously, it would make him the most expensive defender in world football. Also, making the most expensive English player of all time, ahead of Kyle Walker, because obviously Kyle Walker at the moment is the most expensive English player. Obviously, City paid around £50 million for him. I think there were initial add-ons included in the deal, which initially, risen it to around 52 or 53 million pounds. So initially, City got him a couple of years ago. So at the moment, he's the most expensive English player. But I don't think Harry Maguire's worth 80 or 90 million pounds. He's not a Van Dijk from Liverpool. He's not a Koulibaly from Napoli. He's not a Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. He's nowhere near in their calibre or level. But don't get me wrong, he's still a good central defender. Don't get me wrong, he's still a good central defender, is Harry Maguire. He's proven in the Premier League, like I said. He signed a 5-year deal with Leicester last summer, obviously, no long-term contract, so he's under contract with them till 2023. I think he has made 101 appearances in the Premier League. Obviously, Leicester got him from Hull City back in 2017, and I think Leicester paid around, £17 million for his services. Obviously, he had a loan spell with Wigan. He initially began his career with Sheffield United as a youngster, graduated from their youth system and all that, and obviously went on to make 166. Well, he played 166 professional games, but Harry Maguire's still got a lot of development in him. He's only 26 years of age, so he's in his prime and all that. And I think at some point in his career, he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level, of course. But I can't see Manchester United or Manchester City, willing to pay 80 or 90 million pounds for his current services. But like I said, we've got a number of central defenders on our agenda, of course, because we have got issues defensively. And like I said, I think we need two central defenders, because we've got the likes of Smalling and Phil Jones. They're too inconsistent as Smalling and Phil Jones now. They have been too long-serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years. Jones has been here 8 years. And don't get me wrong, comparing them, Smalling's a much better defender than Phil Jones. But, like I currently have said, they're too inconsistent now. Obviously, it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving them new long-term contracts. That doesn't obviously, stop us from getting rid of them. But I think they are going to be currently here next season, Smalling and Jones. Obviously, we've got Eric Bailly, but obviously Eric Bailly doesn't even initially, get in the team now. And like I said, based on his fallout under managers, based on his injuries he has sustained, it's had a really bad effect on Eric Bailly's career. He burst into the scenes really well when he came into the Premier League. Eric Bailly did really, really well. I think he's made about 50 appearances in the Premier League for Manchester United. Obviously, he's been here 3 years, and I think Manchester United, would be open to selling him, but I think we'd look to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016 and all that. So obviously, we'd look to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him back in 2016. Obviously, it was Jose Mourinho's first signing. Obviously, Jose Mourinho bought 11 players when he was at Manchester United, just spent under £400 million. But obviously, Eric Bailly was the first signing. So it would be beneficial if we could cash in for him. So, like I said, we need 2 central defenders. So Harry Maguire is on our agenda. He could possibly, could come to Manchester United, but I just don't see, willing to pay that 80 or £90 million that Leicester are currently demanding for him. So, like I said, maybe from Harry Maguire's perspective, if he was to leave Leicester, I think his preference, would be Manchester City. Obviously, Manchester City, and that can offer him Champions League football and all that. Obviously, City are the dominant force in England at the moment. So I think from his own preference, he would probably, go to Manchester City over Manchester United, of course. But I don't even think, City would be willing to pay 80 or £90 million for his services. Even though, we've spent a lot of money over the years, like I said, City have spent a hell of a lot of money, especially under Pep Guardiola. Obviously, the majority of the money Pep Guardiola has spent has been on that Manchester City team. But like I said, I don't think City would be willing to pay 80 or £90 million for Harry Maguire. As I've been updating you on a regular basis about Matthijs de Ligt from Ajax, of course, obviously, he's one of our priority targets. Obviously, it did initially say that Manchester United have offered him a lucrative contract, worth up to around £350,000 a week. Obviously, this equates to almost £17 million a year. And obviously, if this was to process, which I don't see happening now, it would make him the highest paid teenager in world football. Also, make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. I think it'd make him the second highest paid player at Manchester United, just behind Alexis Sanchez, of course. So, like I said, I don't think Matthijs de Ligt now is coming in anywhere. I think, according to recent reports, his likely destinations are going to be Barcelona and PSG, of course. But I think now PSG are considered, to be one of the favourites, because I think PSG are willing to meet the terms and all that. They're willing to meet what de Ligt's demanding, what his agent, of course, Raiola is demanding. But Matthijs de Ligt has not yet, made a decision on his future. I think he's set to make a decision on his future sometime next week or in a couple of weeks' time. But I think it's very imminent that he's going to be leaving Ajax. But we do know it's Barcelona and PSG now that are reportedly considered to be 2 of the favourites to get the player's signature. I think Barcelona are set to reopen talks with his agent Raiola sometime this week and all that. Obviously, Barcelona, as it did say before, are not willing to meet the terms. They struggle to come to an agreement on the terms. Barcelona not willing to meet what de Ligt's demanding and what his agent Raiola, of course, is demanding. And this is the main factor reason why the other week, like he said, the talks had stalled, between Matthijs de Ligt and Barcelona, of course. But I think for Matthijs de Ligt's preference, his first choice is definitely Barcelona, I still believe. Obviously, Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate, Frankie de Jong, who obviously Barcelona got for around £65 million. So maybe from Matthijs de Ligt's perspective, he wants to reunite with his current teammate. Obviously, Liverpool have been in there for him. I think it did come out the other week, or was it last week, should I say? Raiola came out and said, from his preference, he wants his client to make the move to Liverpool, because maybe he thinks he'd do well at Liverpool. He'd blend in Liverpool's backline really, really well alongside Virgil van Dijk. And I think this is the main factor reason why Liverpool have been interesting, because of Virgil van Dijk. Because obviously, Virgil van Dijk and Matthijs de Ligt, know each other really, really well. Obviously, they're both Dutch. They're both playing the Netherlands national team. So there's a slight possibility chance he'll go to Liverpool, but I don't see it happening. Also, Man City have been in there for him. Like I said, they're looking for a replacement company, but I don't think he'll go to City. Obviously, Juventus and that have been in there for him. So many teams have expressed their interest. Bayern Munich were in there for him, but now they've opted him out of the race reportedly. So I think his 2 likely destinations are Barcelona and PSG. In terms of the transfer fees, he's going to cost you from 70 to £75 million. But like I said, I think he also wants to obviously go to a team that's obviously got Champions League football. Manchester United haven't got it, so I think this is the main factor reason why we're set to miss out. And he also wants to go to a team that can assure him first team football, and this is one thing Manchester United could do. We could assure Matthijs de Ligt first team football and all that. I think first team football, would be much easier for him at Manchester United than it would be for him at Barcelona. I think he would help us with our own rebuilding project and all that would Matthijs de Ligt, but I just don't see it happening now, to be quite honest with you. I just don't see his move to Old Trafford currently materialising. But like I said, he's only 19 years of age. Obviously, he's got a hell of a lot of development in him so far. Has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously, made his senior debut with just the age of 17. Obviously, got named captain at the age of 18. Obviously, won the Golden Boy Award last year, and obviously enjoyed a really good season last season with Ajax. Obviously, winning Obviously, winning the domestic double with them, getting to the Champions League semi-final, also scored in that, and obviously, winning the Eredivisie title. So he enjoyed a really good season last season. So he can leave Ajax with his head held up high. But like I said, he's going to be leaving, but it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But I think, Manchester United are set to currently miss out on him. But like I said, Toby Alderweireld has been on our agenda, of course. We have been long admirers of Toby Alderweireld because obviously, the process started under Jose Mourinho. That's obviously another player that Jose Mourinho wanted. I think last summer, Tottenham were demanding around £60 million for him. But now, this summer, Toby Alderweireld is available for £25 million because that's his initial release clause. And I think, he'd still be a great upgrade in our defence, with Alderweireld without a shadow of a doubt. Looking at it from a financial point of view, he's obviously going to substantially cost us a lot less than Koulibaly. He's going to substantially cost us a lot less than Harry Maguire. He's going to substantially cost us a lot less than Matty Serdele. So like I said, looking at it from a financial point of view, he's available for a reasonable figure, £25 million. But I don't think he's initially, in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans. So I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is intending on, making a move for Toby Alderweireld, even though he likes him. But I just don't think he's intending on bringing him in because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not keen on bringing any short-term players to the club. Maybe get a couple of years out of him and that, but he's 30 now. He is aging up. Of course, he's proven in the Premier League. He has been at Tottenham a number of years, but I don't see Manchester United going in now for Toby Alderweireld. But I think he's going to be leaving Tottenham, obviously because he's refused to sign a new current contract. But I think the players that are set, to leave Manchester United this summer, is definitely, Matteo Darmian and Rojo. I think they should be leaving because they've enjoyed difficult times at Manchester United of Marcus Rojo and Matteo Darmian. Like I said, I think Rojo's career has been mainly affected, the amount of injuries he has sustained. Like I said, with Darmian, he's enjoyed difficult time, hasn't really been given the chance as Matteo Darmian. But an estimated guess, I could say, I should say, we could get around 25 or 30 million pounds for them. So that's obviously not going to help us with our rebuilding process on our transition. And I think another problem with Manchester United, we have let far too many players their contracts run down, as I keep saying. That's obviously been another issue. Obviously, I give you the latest news earlier on in regards to David De Gea and all that, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, because obviously it's looking very imminent that David De Gea is going to be leaving Manchester United, because obviously it got confirmed the other week. He turned down a final contract offer from Manchester United. Reportedly, we have been, at least in last year and a half, trying to get David De Gea a new contract, because we've been in talks for the last year and a half. But obviously, De Gea is demanding that he wants around £350,000 a week. Obviously, we're not willing to meet his current wage demands. Probably this is the main factor reason why he hasn't signed a new contract with Manchester United and all that. And I think, De Gea's likely destination is PSG. Obviously, I think that's his likely destination. Obviously, now PSG have set their interest up in him, because obviously, Buffon has left PSG and all that. So I think it did initially say that PSG are preparing to put a bid in for him of around £60 million. I think initially, obviously, we want to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer next year, because that would be a calamity if we let David De Gea go on a free transfer next year. That would be a huge disappointment. But like I said, we can cash in for him this summer. I said at full value for the goalkeeper, he's worth around £100 million. So he's worth, he's worth six figures. He's David De Gea without a shadow of a doubt. But obviously, we're not going to get £100 million pounds from him, because obviously he's in the final year of his contract. If he had about 3 years left on his contract, I think we could get around £100 million pounds for David De Gea. But Dad, what are you doing?
What am I doing? I've just been to empty a flat.
Oh. Are you going out? Alright. Alright. But as I was saying, yeah, so But as I was saying, yeah, we all know that Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea. They've been linked to him a number of years. Reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him, but due to a fax machine, of course, Medela never materialised. I think it's all said that Juventus have expressed an interest, but De Gea's been here 8 years. He has made over 300 appearances in all competitions. He's won everything he domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 years, of course, and hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period. I know he's making mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how imperative he is and all that, and I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace him, because like I said, he's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our #1 goalkeeper. Like I said, I've got reservations about that, because I don't think Sergio Romero is yet reliable enough, to become our #1 goalkeeper. We have got Dean Henderson, but like I said, too inexperienced at the moment, needs to gain a bit more experience, does Dean Henderson. I think we need to orchestrate on loaning him out for another season. But there has been talks coming out in the press today, as he updated you on my previous video about Jan Blanc from Atletico Madrid. I think there was also talks about this going on about 4 or 5 weeks ago, saying that Manchester United were willing to trigger his £100 million buyout clause. Obviously, he's been at Atletico Madrid 5 seasons. Obviously, he recently extended his contract. I think it was back in April he extended his contract, so he's under contract with them until 2023. I think he also got like a little pay rise in his buyout clause when he did sign this contract extension. I don't think he got a huge pay rise in his buyout clause. So I think his buyout clause is at 106 or 107 million pounds or something like that. He is regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I won't put him in David De Gea's calibre or level, but he's 2 years younger than De Gea. He's 26 years of age, and I think he wants to leave Atletico Madrid this summer. And I think his preference is Manchester United. So he's interested in coming to Manchester United reportedly. But I do very like him. He's made over 200 appearances for Atletico Madrid. He's been there 5 seasons, like I said. I think last season it was only Liverpool's Alisson that kept as many clean sheets as Jan Blanc. So that just emphasises how good Jan Blanc is. He doesn't leak a lot of goals. He's a good shot stopper. I've got some reservations when it comes to him, saving with his feet. But I think Jan Blanc is a really, really good goalkeeper. So do you think he'd fit the Manchester United agenda and all that? But reportedly he wants to currently make the move to Manchester United. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. So I think reportedly we probably would have to trigger his buyout clause if we were to get a deal over the line for him. But I don't know if it's like I said, I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace David De Gea. But reportedly Jan Blanc wants the move to Manchester United. But there has been quite a few goalkeepers' names mentioned. Who could replace David De Gea at the club. There's been talks of Jordan Pickford before. So there has been quite a lot of names mentioned. But like I said, looking very imminent that David De Gea is going to be leaving the club. Obviously, I think we have got a release list of around 14 players, and obviously Herrera's in that list. Obviously Antonio Valencia, of course, is on that list, as you all know. Like I've updated you about Juan Mata on a regular basis. Obviously, there's been a change of scenery with him. It did say Manchester United have offered him a new contract. Whether he's willing to accept this contract offer or not, I do not know. With Juan Mata, I think it has been looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, he's only got just under 3 weeks left on his contract, on his existing deal remaining. But I'd love him to stay for another season. I know initially, Juan Mata doesn't even get in the squad now with Manchester United. He's basically surplus to requirements and all that, and he's a squad player. But I'd still like him to stay for another season and all that. And I'd love him to stay for another season. Juan Mata. I'd love him to stay for another season, but Newcastle have been in there for him, like I said. Barcelona have been in there for him. They've been in talks of getting him on a free transfer, but if he does go to Barcelona, then Barcelona are going to use him as a squad player. They're not going to see him as a replacement for Messi. They're just going to see, Juan Mata as a current squad player. But like I said, it probably wouldn't have been a long-term contract of offered him, reflecting on his age. He's 31 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace, like I said. Doesn't even initially get in the team now, but he's been here 5 years. He's made 218 appearances in all competitions, scored 45 goals for the club, so being a fantastic servant here as Juan Mata. So he may accept this contract offer, so he may not leave the club this summer, of course, but maybe from Juan Mata's preference, if he does leave Manchester United, he maybe wants to make the return back to Spain, because obviously he grew up in Spain, began his career in Spain and all that with Real Madrid and Valencia, of course. But like I said, being a fantastic servant in the Premier League, he's been in the Premier League about 7.5, 8 years, of course, including his 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. So yeah, being a great servant in the Premier League. Rashford's in the final year of his deal at the club. He's in the final year of his deal. I think Manchester United have been in talks of getting Marcus Rashford a new contract. Like I said, I don't think the club are orchestrating on selling him, because we still believe he's a long-term solution for Manchester United, even though he's been very inconsistent in the last couple of months. Only had 21 years of age, and I still got him a lot of years ahead of him, of course. but has been inconsistent in the last couple of months. Recent reports said Barca are interested in him. I think also Real Madrid have been linked to him in the past, but I don't think Manchester United are intending on selling Marcus Rashford. It's going to take him a couple of years, to get him to that level where he currently wants to be. But like I said, that's the problem. We have let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, I've been updating you regularly, haven't I, about Youri Tielemans from Leicester. He's a potential Manchester United target. We've inquired about his services. Man United are in for him, also Tottenham are in for him. I think Arsenal have previously been linked with Youri Tielemans, but Youri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers. Now Leicester want to get him on a permanent deal. Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this. But yeah, I like Youri Tielemans. I think from his own perspective, he's expected to return to Monaco. Of course, initially Monaco paid £21 million for his services for Anderlecht, where initially Youri Tielemans had began his career and all that. But I think he's available for a reasonable figure. I think he's rated at around £40 million or something like that. So there has been quite a few teams in there for him. I think initially Manchester United would see Youri Tielemans as a replacement for Paul Pogba. I think he's primarily central midfielder. Only 22 years of age. So yeah, quite a few teams have inquired about his services. I've obviously been updating you about James Maddison on a regular basis. Of course, recent reports have said that he's keen on staying with Leicester. I don't think he'll intend on spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester, because obviously at some point he's going to want to rejuvenate his career and take his career to the next level, of course. But I think for now he wants to stay with Leicester. A lot of reports though were speculating out last week saying that we had emerged James Maddison as a priority target. It also said we made initial contact with James Maddison and his representatives over the potential move to Old Trafford and all that, and initially said Leicester wanted around £60 million for his services. And I think it did say the other week that we were in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for him. It said James Maddison was interested in coming, but he had reservations about joining Manchester United because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season. Tottenham have also been in there for him. City have been in there for him. Liverpool have been in there for him. But they've been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry, where he grew up and progressing up the ranks. But he's had obviously had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, he was fantastic in his debut season last season. The Premier League was involved in 14 goals, created more chances than any other player. Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for 20 million. He's under contract with Leicester until 2023, of course. So there was a lot of talks about him, going on the other week. But like I said, he's 22 years of age as well, so very, very young. But like I said, with Paul Pogba, there's a possibility chance he could remain at the football club, based on the huge transfer fee that we have put on him. But obviously, I've already given you the latest update about Paul Pogba. Obviously, as well, about Joe Felix from Benfica. Obviously, he's still on our current agenda. He's, Joe Felix, it's Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for him. I think Benfica have admitted that he could leave the club this summer. I think he still remains uncertain about his future at the moment. I think reportedly, Manchester United and Manchester City have got to trigger his buyout clause. His buyout clause is around £105 million. So I think Benfica said it has to be triggered if they are willing to sell the player. And I really, really like him. He's only 19 years of age. Obviously, he's been relentlessly linked with a move to Old Trafford because Man United instructed scouts back in January to keep a close eye out on him. And obviously, scouts have been watching him since January because obviously he was good. He was impressive in his, he was impressive last season with Benfica. It was his first season last season in the senior squad. Obviously, has not yet made his senior debut of Portugal, but I said he can emulate into one of the best players in the world. He's only 19 years of age. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Can also play as a winner, a striker, and a secondary striker. So I like Joe Felix a lot, but it has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. Like I updated you earlier on, was it about arriving Lozano from PSV, obviously 23 years of age, very, very young. I think Man United have inquired about his services in the past. I think if I'm right, we were linked to him back in March, according to reports. So he has been on Manchester United's agenda before. And like I said, it has come. I think it came out yesterday saying that reportedly, from arriving Lozano's preference, he wants to make the move to Manchester United because he's meant to have been signing for Napoli for quite a long time now. Napoli have been linked to him for quite a long time, and I do believe believe there's an element of truth in this, to be quite honest, saying that he wants to join Manchester United. I think his agent Raiola wants, him to make the move to Napoli, so he basically, wants the deal to be done. But reportedly, he did say yesterday that his move to Napoli has stalled at the moment, because obviously he wants to make the move to Manchester United. So Haravan Lozano is hoping that Manchester United, do come in at the final hurdle, for him, and then he wants to come to Manchester United. But I do believe he's really, really good. He's the obvious candidate for the right wing, because obviously he's a winner. I think he can also play as a forward. He can score goals and all that. And he's been good in his couple of scenes with PSV. He was also good in the World Cup last summer with Mexico, was Haravan Lozano. And looking at it, he's obviously a much better solution than Gareth Bale, of course, because he's a lot younger than Gareth Bale. He's got a lot more development in him than Gareth Bale, of course. Obviously, Gareth Bale is a lot more experienced. But like I was saying about Gareth Bale, I've got strong reservations about him now. I still think he's a good player, but I just think he's been inconsistent in the last couple of seasons with Real Madrid. Obviously, recent reports have come out saying, Manchester United are keen on getting him on a loan deal. Obviously, Manchester United are willing to pay a loan fee and all that. It says we're willing to pay his wages. What? Soon, yeah. I need tea in that first.
Okay, well, I'm off up there for an hour.
Alright.
Make sure you lock the gate when you come out.
Alright. Yeah, but like I said, Manchester United are willing to pay his £480,000 a week wages and all that, so we are keen on getting him on loan. I think initially we want to get him on a long-season loan deal, but I think it's potentially for 2 seasons, because I think there's also an option to extend it by a further 12 months. But obviously, this could be beneficial for Real Madrid. It will knock £50 million off their wage bill in the next couple of seasons, so I think we are keen on getting Gareth Bale on loan. I don't want him at Old Trafford at all, but obviously, if we were to get him, I'd rather get him on loan than get him permanently. I don't think Manchester United want to get Gareth Bale permanently, because obviously he's injury prone and all that, and obviously he's been inconsistent in the last couple of seasons. Plus he's aging up as well. He's 29 now. He's nearly 30 years of age as Gareth Bale. He did, unless you say Real Madrid want around £75 million for his services. So basically, Real Madrid are looking to recoup the majority of the money that they did pay for him from Tottenham back in 2013. Obviously, Real Madrid paid £85 million for him from Tottenham back in 2013. But like I said, Manchester United are reluctant to get him permanently, and we're reluctant to pay £75 million soon. And I think also Tottenham are reluctant to pay £75 million for his services. So from Real Madrid's perspective, I think they will let him go out on loan, because obviously they want to get rid of him. Obviously, from their own preference, they would love to get rid of him permanently, but they're going to find it difficult to get rid of him permanently, based on his substantial wages. And so based on his substantial wages, it's going to be difficult for them to get rid of him permanently. But Zinedine Zidane has confirmed that Gareth Bale has no future with Real Madrid. He's obviously confirmed that Gareth Bale is no longer part of his plans. I think from Gareth Bale's perspective, he wants to stay with Real Madrid. Even though he's injury prone, his ratio is still very good. He has scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid. I think he's provided about 64 assists and that, so his ratio is still very, very good. You can play him on the left. You can also play him on the right and all that. But Manchester United are willing to do this. We're willing to get him on loan. We're willing to pay his we're willing to pay his wages and all that. But it is initially 2 years, potentially 2 seasons. Because obviously obviously it's a 1 season, but then it does say there's an option to extend it by a further 12 months, of course. But like I said, whether this happens or not, I do not know. But like I said, Haravan Lozano would be the much better solution. Even Nicolas Pepe would be the much better solution, because we know that Nicolas Pepe is leaving Lille. Obviously, that got confirmed a couple of weeks ago by the Lille chairman. But again, that still remains uncertain where Nicolas Pepe will be playing his trade next season. So many teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, Liverpool have been in there for him. Duncan Castles came out, who's a journalist, and he basically said, Liverpool have been in contact with the player. They've also been in negotiations with Nicolas Pepe's agent over getting a deal finalised and all that. I think initially, Lille want around £70 million for Nicolas Pepe, but Liverpool have been in there for him. But reports came out last month, saying that this was coming from Duncan Castle. He said Manchester United and Liverpool had been interested in Nicolas Pepe, and he also said Man United and Liverpool have been in talks with Lille to sign Nicolas Pepe, because obviously he's been at Lille a couple of seasons. He's exceeded expectation levels. He was the revelation for Lille last season. Obviously scored 22 goals. goals, provided 11 assists, and he's the obvious candidate, you know, for the right win for Manchester United, because he's primarily a winner. So he's the type of player that Manchester United do need. You know, skillful, really good at creating chances. So I think he'd, you know, blend in very, very well in our attacking line alongside the likes of Rashford and Anthony Martial. Obviously, Nicolas Pepe has just turned 24, so he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. So far, he has spent the entirety of his career in France. Like I said, I think Lille got him from Angers in 2017, and he's under contract with Lille until 2022. So I think Nicolas Pepe and Ivan Lozano, you know, would be much better solutions than Gareth Bale, of course. But I think we initially need a winner anywhere, because that's one of the areas where Manchester United, of course, might lack him. But like I was saying about Bale, you know, he could be still part of the deal with Paul Pogba, because obviously it came out a couple of days ago, you know, saying that Real Madrid are willing to offer Gareth Bale, you know, are willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba. So possibly Pogba could be still part of the deal with Gareth Bale. So reportedly, yeah. And that's mainly everything to update today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.